Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Knack. Very pleased to be bringing you some live tournament action here on GSL's Xel'Naga Fortress. A nice three-player map. I quite like this map. It is a very well planned out map, and I think is actually a fun map for Terran vs Terran matchups, which is exactly what we will be seeing here. 7FLOW versus Nano. 7FLOW going to be spawning in the 11 o'clock position. Nano going to be spawning in about the 7 o'clock position. On this map, as you can see, 7FLOW is going to be playing as Pink Terran, Nano as Blue. Both of these guys, master level players, phenomenal players. We've seen 7FLOW and Nano play quite a bit in this tournament so far. We've really kind of been following both of them. And now we are bringing you that match. Uh-oh. We have got a graphics card problem, whatever that means. Nano. Uh-oh. All right, we are back and playing. Good stuff. So looks like 7FLOW did have some computer troubles to deal with there, but apparently he's got it set up, so hopefully we will not have any more pauses in the game. I mean, not that we don't mind waiting, I guess. It's not that long, but the biggest thing that we want to have is good, fair matchups. So, I mean, if you got to pause to fix something, that is perfectly acceptable. 7FLOW going to be working on a little wall off here, as well as Nano. So interesting. Actually, 7FLOW doing it slightly differently. Looks like he's only going to use supply depots here to wall off, probably. We shall see. And going to be putting his barracks here in the back. Just depends on how, what your SimCity build is, I guess. And there's a lot of different reasons to be doing it in those different ways. So it's just interesting to see those small differences between players. Now, let me just take a look here. Let's see who is watching on the live stream. Looks like just Sublime at this point. But if there's anybody else out there watching the live stream, let's start getting some bets going. Who do you think is going to win this matchup? I mean, Terran vs Terran is a really good match. It's actually my favorite mirror matchup. But because, PvP turns into 4-gate fest, and ZVZ turns into who can tech to banelings or roaches and make it stick faster. And, it's just one of those things. They're just kind of fragile. Terran is less fragile of a matchup. And sometimes it's even, it can turn into tank wars, which, yeah, that could potentially be a little boring, where everybody just sieges and sits in the center of the map too far outside of each other's range and just waiting for their opponent to get out of position. But whatever. Usually a lot of Terran matchups that we've been seeing though in the tournaments, we haven't had much tank wars. We've seen a lot of really nice Hellion play, a lot of really good air play. We've seen guys teching to Vikings, Banshees, and oh boy, what's the big ship called? No, I can't remember. Battle cruisers, that's the one. So yeah, pretty good stuff though. Let's take a look here at Nano's base. We've spent a lot of time up there with 7FLOW. Looks like they've got about the same timings for everything here. Factory going down with the tech lab for Nano, so probably going to be seeing either Blue Flame or well, he's got double gas, so I don't know. I'm not entirely sure what he's going to be going here. We'll see. Tanks, going straight for tanks. Interesting. Tech Lab for 7FLOW. moving it off of the tech lab. Looks like he's going straight for his starport. So probably some cloaked banshees here. He is on double gas. Not a bad play, that is for sure. But not tons of scouting here from these guys. One thing I do want to mention here real quick is this Xel'Naga tower has got a timer on it. So if you run it out, the Xel'Naga tower blows up and it is no longer usable. So you lose your scouting ability there if you use up that time limit. So it's kind of interesting. That's just an interesting kind of dynamic to the map. Looks like Nano wanting to scout now. Don't blame him there at all. There's the starport. We do have some medevacs on the way. Not going for siege tech quite yet. I'm a little interested there to see what he's going to be waiting for. Probably just wants to get out enough tanks first. This is not Swift asking if this is a new ladder map. It is not. This is a GSL tournament map. It is a 3-player GSL tournament map. So, but he's saying that it was weird about Xel'Naga. That was a little bit interesting. And Metalopolis too. I mean, they took Metalopolis out. So kind of interesting stuff. But Nano's got this nice looking force here cruising out across the map. He does not have siege tech, so not going to be going there. He looks like he is going to be elevatoring up into the back of the base. This will be scouted, however, here fairly shortly. There it goes. Taking out the tech lab with the... Oh, wow, he did not get the cancel there. SevenFLOW trying to figure out what he's going to do to try and hold this off. Just bringing his units back into the base here for that. Siege tech is now complete. These tanks doing a lot of damage. Wow. Oh my goodness. I'm thinking that Nano is about to take this down. I can't believe how much damage he just did. Oh my goodness. SevenFLOW in quite a pickle now. Look at this. Is he going to be able to take this down? Finally, that tank going down. And Nano saying he messed up. It does not, however, appear that way from our standpoint, buddy. We're sitting here watching you playing, and it does not look like you messed up. It looks like you performed an extremely effective attack there. Unit's going to be showing that SevenFLOW down to 8 SCVs right now. Brutal, brutal, brutal position right now for him to be in. He lost a lot of ground there. Nano now starting to macro up his SCVs. He did cut SCV production, which is not something you always see in a Terran vs. Terran matchup. But cruising out here with some Vikings. Probably, I'm not sure what he's going to be doing with them, so we'll just see. But he could go for some mineral line harass. That could be fairly effective because he knows he killed a lot of SCVs in that matchup. He did scout these Hellions cruising out across the map. But here go the Hellions. They're going to have a tough time, though. I mean, there are tanks on the field up here. It's walled off. They're not going to do tons of damage to break through here. So, I mean, I guess this is more for map control than anything at this point. He's just going to kind of see what he can see. Does not see an expansion. However, there is one being built right now, as we can see here in Nano's base. Let's take a look at the units tab and see how SevenFLOW is doing in his catch-up game here. Trying to catch up economically is up to 18 SCVs to his opponent's now 24. So pretty solid, though. I mean, he's doing a good job getting back in this game economically. As long as he can hold on when Nano decides to attack again. But this is a nice tech pattern that he's got here. Double factories. He's going for tanks, setting himself up defensively, going for some medevacs so that he can heal those what Marines he does have in his army, which is only 3 at this point. He does have quite a few Hellions, though, so if he can get those in position to do some economic damage, yeah, that would be great. Here goes a drop right now, it looks like. He just has got to make sure that he makes it happen appropriately. Otherwise, this will put him even further behind. Let's take a look at units lost here before we go to that attack. So 7FLOW definitely behind here, but Nano did lose quite a bit in that attack. But the economic damage was what really mattered, and it just put 7FLOW behind. So brutal, brutal, brutal. Is that going to be in range? Nope. Blue Flame Hellions. Getting some economic damage done, so not bad. There you go, Nano. Taking that guy out of siege. Super effective. That's what we like to see. But, wow. A lot of back and forth here now. As we can see, Nano is now at the disadvantage economically. However, Nano does have quite a few tanks here for his defense, so this will be a tough defense to break. But 7FLOW is going to be giving it a swing here, it looks like. He's going to be using a barracks for scouting, I'm guessing here. Yeah, Swift out on the live stream saying that that did way too much damage. I would have to agree. I think Nano's reaction time there was not where it needed to be. He really should have got that tank unsieged faster. If it's sieged up here next to your mineral line, that's not really a good idea, actually, come to think of it. Because really what you want is for the tank to be shooting fast and blasting those units, individual units away. Siege is going to do splash and help those units kill off your SCV. So, quite frankly, I would say don't siege up tanks right next to your mineral line. That's just my personal preference. It does take a little bit of extra micro potentially, and it decreases their range. I mean, I understand those things, but I say it's better. What do you think, Swift? I'd like to hear what you think on that matter. So type it in there in the chat. I mean, I think it's best to not siege tanks up in your base, especially near your mineral line, because if they're harassing your mineral line, the last thing you want is that splash. That's just my take on it. But Nano doing a pretty good job catching back up here. Now he's at 36 SCVs to his opponent's 39. Excuse me. Well, that's true. If it is an all-marine drop, then I guess what you do want is the splash so you can take those guys out. That's probably a good point. But then I guess there's the other side of it, that you can always unsiege your tank if you get there. You know, I mean, if you see Hellions being dropped, well, unsiege your tank. They're going to be able to waste those Hellions, and they won't be able to abuse your minimum range, so... Yeah, so good stuff. Thanks, Swift, for that. Looks like we're about to have a battle here in the center of the map. 7FLOW spotting this with his barracks. Oh, and these guys getting in the middle of the siege line there. And Nano losing a couple of Vikings there that he probably didn't need to. Could have backed those out potentially. But that's okay. He was not expecting those tanks to be sieged up there in the center of the map, I'm guessing. So, oh, look at this. 7FLOW going to be scouting this movement behind the scenes here. That is fun. So great job here by 7FLOW. Really keeping track of where his opponent is going to be moving. Tanks sieging up at a pretty good location here, it looks like. But it doesn't look like it's going to be enough tanks. It looks like... Oh my goodness, these tanks doing way more damage than they need to. Wow! So Nano, wow, I was actually pretty surprised there. I guess those stimmed Marines came in for the clutch blockage there, and the tanks weren't focusing down the siege tanks. 7FLOW's tanks weren't. And now 7FLOW having to set himself up defensively, lifting up his orbital command here at the expand, trying to make this, put himself in a position to defend here on the high ground. He's got 2 tanks now, looks like, about to be sieged up. But Nano's going to be abusing this medevac. Oh, and the medevac getting sniped there by 7FLOW. That was actually a pretty good deal. Now these tanks are going to be getting into a little bit of trouble if these tanks move forward here. Interesting siege lines. And Nano going to be backing out, it looks like. So kind of interesting play here. 7FLOW is going to want to get back to mining immediately. So good job holding that off. However, he does not want to mine out his main. It looks like that is already too late. He has got 2 mineral patches left at 200 mins each. Yuck. That's all I can say. So he has got to set himself up here at this expansion. Get back to mining immediately here. And behind this, the nice thing for Nano's position is he is expanding behind this. There's his third right there, as we can see. And he's got pretty decent defenses here, it looks like. And a lot of tanks out here. Going to be in pretty solid position. Nano looking to leapfrog forward here, I think. Interesting play. These siege tanks are getting in position. Oh my goodness, are they going to get the snipe on this orbital? Not quite. He's going to need another scan to do that. Looks like. SevenFLOW in a lot of trouble here. Look at all these SCVs going down to 20 SCVs now. Trying to get some tanks out here and just make this happen with tanks. I mean, not a bad play, but my goodness, this attack by Nano just fairly relentless. He did take out quite a few tanks there, so nice job there by 7FLOW. It looks like he is going to be able to hold this off here for just another moment. He has got to get to this another expansion somewhere. He is really going to be in sore shape. Nano cruising. Units tab shows that he is at 45 SCVs right now. So, I mean, while it is the 22-minute mark, and yeah, he's probably a little bit behind, but there's been a lot of action in this game, and so that is part of the reason for that. But he is cruising right now economically. Uh-oh, what is this force doing? Where are these guys going? 7FLOW cruising out to the center of the map here. Looks like he's gearing up to take this expand, I'm assuming. But we will see. What are these guys doing? I think they were looking for a hidden expansion, maybe? Sieging up here. Now he's got Nano's force kind of trapped here. Oh, Nano walking right into it! Couple tanks going, well, one tank going down, but 2 of them softened up, 3 of them softened up pretty stinking heavy. Good stuff there by 7FLOW. I'd like to see him moving this orbital command out. I mean, he's got the gas that he needs here from his expand. I'd rather see him move this orbital command out and take this expansion at this point. But I mean, he's got to get back into it and be ready for that. So, I mean, I can understand what he's doing, but I would really, really appreciate an expand here from 7FLOW. What can I say? 7FLOW trying to be as active with these Vikings as he can. Not bad play here at all. Looks like he is going to come over here. Maybe